It's a pleasure to join you tonight. Thanks everyone for coming out. Just curious, does anyone see the long version of the film beforehand? Yeah, one or two other people. Back for more. This is the 52-minute version of the film. You probably don't need to know quite as much detail. Let's go short version of the film. The original full one, and yes, this is my shameless plug right now, that's on DVD, the 95-minute version, the back, the end. I'll be there at the table. I had this one made both so that we could do a 1 hour for television version, but also for events such as this. We were finding that 95 minutes of watching a film in all of its glorious detail, by the time you got to the end, most people were kind of like, stay for the discussion or get home before the babysitter's clock runs out. So we made a shorter version, and it seems to be working quite well for just this sort of occasion. Because probably the most important reason I made this film, there's all kinds of reasons, I suppose, if I get into it, why I wanted to do this, cover the topic, make the film. The most important one was to get people thinking and then discussing. And it's great tonight that we not just have me at the front or someone from the community leading you in a discussion, but to actually have some of the political candidates in the very imminent election so that you can engage directly with them. So for that and other reasons, I'm going to minimize my time up here, get out of the way. I'm curious what they have to say as well, because really what I wanted was to get you asking yourself, what could I be doing differently? Asking yourself, what could I be expecting my government to be doing for me? And what sort of questions should I be asking of elected officials, candidates during an election? And what were the most important issues? What matters most to me? What came to me in the making of this film, I headed off on that trip to Europe that you saw me introduce at the start. But truth be told, I headed off to Europe because my wife was on sabbatical and I had a great opportunity to go for 3 months with the family and my camera. I was just going to film green stuff that I saw somewhere. Good urban planning, public transit, renewable energy, whatever. But among my earliest stops, that first trip to Berlin for a conference, and then a follow-up visit in Freiant with Joseph Pesch, where I was up in the hills, the wind turbines, the message that I kept getting was one that it matters who owns energy generation. It does matter to people that they have the right to generate their own energy. They can't be told, you little ignorant people can't do that. Leave it to us big clever people far away. We'll do it all for you. They had the right to do it, and the utility, the way the feed-in tariff law in Germany was set up, the utilities had to buy the energy from them. So you could decide, I'm going to put up 5 panels, 10, 200. The utility has to buy my energy, and they have to pay me a premium price for it, but that premium price wouldn't last forever. It was a kickstart. Nothing should be subsidized forever. It was an initial subsidy to get an industry going. And the result of that was quite phenomenal. It was lots of little people and groups of little people deciding to get together and make something happen. And what I got out of that was, and here we get into all the puns and plays on words, it was empowering for people. It was energizing for them. What they were getting was a sense that, wow, I can change things. I don't just have to take what I'm given, whether it's by a government or a corporation or whatever. There's things in my world that I can start to change. And that really resonated for me. I see some nodding heads. Yeah, I can have an impact in the world around me. We don't get that when we go up to the pump and go, oh, is it $1.27 or $1.28 today? It was a more fundamental decisions were being made available to them. So it came to me that what this film really had to be about was exploring that relationship between, yes, the technical side of where do we get our energy from, how do we use it, can we use it well, can we be wasteful about it, but then the whole human, social dimension. Can I generate it myself? Can I get together with others? Can we use this as a community building exercise? You heard comments from Wolf Island. Yeah, not so much. Didn't work out so well. It was quite. There were some who were for, some against, but on the whole, I really got the sense that in a way, it really ripped the community apart. A lot of healing to be done right now on Wolf Island, neighbor against neighbor. Whereas other communities where they were able to invest and own their own energy, it was a community building exercise. Samsø in Denmark the story told to me was, once we figured out all the things we could do with energy, I'm sure we've still got a few more things we can add to it, we started looking at food. So the island has become almost entirely an organic, more sustainable form of agriculture producer of food. And I said, well, what about tourism? That's one of our biggest forms of income. Why don't we make the draw to Samosu, not just come look at our wind turbines and our solar panels and eat our good food, but also the tourism itself would be, it's a form of ecotourism, and that would be part of the draw. So I mean, there were all sorts of aha moments for me in this, and you can only get so much in the film. Yes, you can ask me, why don't I see geothermal energy? Why don't I see tidal? And why don't I see, I'm no advocate of a form of capturing energy from the ground around us, is in the crowd with us right now. And there were so many things I could have put in the film if you wanted to sit for the 6-hour version, but pushing it with 95 minutes. So above all, it was to get you thinking about how we could organize ourselves, plan our cities better, types of transportation we could use, things we could do in our home, and then where do we get our energy from in a technical sense, as well as who do we get it from, and can we even do it ourselves, and what could we do to energize. And here, someone who asked me, in one line, what's your film about? 3 words, actually: energy and democracy. Usual response, huh? Well, when you start thinking about can you empower people to do things for themselves, it's really about democracy. It's about choice. It's about giving people more choices. It's about government facilitating choices, but not doing everything for you. So it's not about a state utility or a private utility that's your only option. You get your power from them. They tell you what it costs, and you just rely on them to keep it running. And so in many different ways, this whole area really is about energy and democracy. And that conversation could go on for ages in many different ways. What sorts of regimes do we choose to get our oil from? Should we be sending soldiers out to secure our supply lines so we can have access to oil? Should we be doing what we're doing in Alberta? Should we be having that debate? I'm going to stop now. I promise to stay short. So many issues we could get to.